for app developers. And we have Jacob Morton joining us for this discussion. And Jacob is a deep learning engineer with SeersLab, Inc., and he has been developing machine learning and computer graphic technologies for ARGear SDK. He has spent over 8 years in the US as a software engineer. And Jake has a wide range of experience, including big data, machine learning, deep learning, GPU, networking, distributed systems, a lot more. He got his bachelor's degree in computer science from the University of Minnesota. And in 2019, Jake received his MS in computer science at Post-Tech in South Korea, where he specialized and conducted innovative research in machine learning and computer graphics. So really psyched to hear from Jake, and I'm going to hand it over to him.
Hi, my name is Jake. I'm from SeersLab, and I will introduce our augmented reality solution. And then we'll go through the ARGear console and finally modify the sample app to work with our own AR content. Augmented reality is a rapidly growing industry with lots of AR content, like in Snapchat, and tools like AR Core and AR Kit. Also, telcos are seeing AR as a major use case for the 5G market. We are also starting to see more AR glasses, as well as depth cameras like the TOF, time-of-flight camera, being added to mobile phones. The AR market is projected to have huge growth in the short term. So to capitalize on this potential source of revenue, adopters need to act quickly to commercialize AR in their applications. Developing AR applications and content requires significant resources. There are several ACE SDKs to choose from, and developing the computer vision and graphics technologies is not easy. AR content creation, it has a high level of development cost, and there's no general tool for it. Building and maintaining a content management service is prohibitive for small companies. AR is new and rapidly evolving industry, and it's challenging to form a business model around it. So few small companies can compete with the big players. App developers need a tool that's easy and helps them enter the market quickly. A pioneer in the AR sector, SeersLab developed Lollycam, the first AR camera application with real-time AR stickers. And Lollycam has been downloaded over 14 million times. SeersLab is headquartered in Palo Alto, California, with a development office in Seoul, South Korea. SeersLab provides a total AR solution. SeersLab has over 5 years of experience developing AR services and AR content with several partnerships. ARGear is the result of combining our know-how and our rich content library into a total solution. SeersLab is providing the ARGear platform for AR application developers. ARGear includes an SDK, AR contents, and an AR application and content manager to help app developers get off the ground quickly. ARGear features a face tracker, face detection and feature tracking, GPU-based camera filters, face morphing and bug effects, bulge effects, and gesture tracking. ARGear also comes packed with free and paid content like 2D and 3D AR stickers, 3D avatars, and includes face expression tracking and segmentation. ARGear has created more than 6,000 2D and 3D content by working with around 120 global IPs, including Disney and Pixar. ARGear also provides a web console to manage and monitor your application usage. Later, I will give a brief tour of the ARGear console, but here you can see a preview where we can view vital analytics of our app usage. And next, to the right, is the content store, a preview of the content store. The ARGear SDK is available to over 20 million app developers around the world without any upfront fee, charging them a network and app usage fee only if they surpass a monthly limit. ARGear also supports a growing interface with AR SDKs like AR Core and AR Kit and Unity. ARGear is the only SDK that is free and offers content with a content management service, a console, and server infrastructure, and we'll soon offer a studio tool to develop custom content for the ARGear store. This will save developers a lot of time and development costs. Here we see that a significant portion of apps use a camera, and we can extend their features with AR content using ARGear. With the ARGear SDK, new monetization sources are possible for your application. Similar to that of ad networks, ARGear will share revenue with app developers when branded content is used by end users. We'll do things like revenue sharing of content sales, revenue sharing of branded contents, and then an ARGear assist market, where third-party developers can sell their SDK plugins and content to ARGear users directly. SeersLab has partnerships with multinational companies. Many of the technologies and content developed in these partnerships will find its way into ARGear. SeersLab is an official Spark AR partner with Facebook and an authorized content creator for Facebook and Instagram. The Samsung S8 and later feature SeersLab's content in their default camera app, and the LG V60 and beyond uses the ARGear SDK and content in its camera. For AR commerce, SeersLab has partnered with eBay for virtual wearables that users can virtually try on, like sunglasses. ARGear will provide many solutions for the developer, solutions for social media, chatting, and other communication methods, 3D avatar, AR commerce. ARGear provides native camera and video app interfaces, and will provide live streaming and broadcasting, and also bring AR to the education and industrial sector. Some more details about our partnerships. SeersLab is partnered with KT, Korea Telecom, which is the biggest telecom in South Korea, and for the 5G AR service. And we partnered with eBay for, as I mentioned before, AR commerce, virtual fitting, and makeup. And we partnered with other companies as well. SeersLab has partnered with SM Entertainment. They're the #1 K-pop idol agency. And we provide all their AR content and technology. SeersLab is also working with LG, also mentioned before. We produce AR content for use with their time-of-flight camera. SeersLab has also partnered with Bauer Brothers to collaborate on building a next-generation video messenger. And SeersLab has also partnered with CJ Logistics, where we apply semantic segmentation to a courier's photo, and then the recipient of the delivery can receive the courier's photo with a clear and uniform background, and be presented better using semantic segmentation. And so that's it for a quick overview of ARGear and SeersLab. Now we'll go over to the ARGear website. Okay, so If you go to ARGear.io, you'll find our website here. Here you can access the console and view more information about ARGear. If you scroll down, you can find, so here we have the SDK. We'll briefly talk about that. So the SDK is free to use, and we currently provide SDKs for Android, iOS, and Unity. The SDK connects to the ARGear console, where you can manage and monitor content, costs, and app usage. If we scroll down more, we see some of the features, like the face landmark detection, face landmark triggering, 2D animation sticker effects, face masks, 3D animation stickers, 3D avatar, virtual backgrounds, and also beautification, things like face bulging, face shaping, skin smoothing, and a beauty filter. And next we'll go to the content. We'll talk a little bit about the content. So for content, we've created lots of creative and branded 2D and 3D stickers and effects that you can use in your app. Let's see, and then we'll go over to the console, about information about it. The console is easy to use, and it's an interface for content curation and app usage analytics. So next we'll talk about pricing. So we have two main plans here. There's a free plan and a paid plan. And we also have a price calculator. And we also provide other extra features that we can, if you contact us separately, we can customize ARGear for you. And we also have an enterprise version. We can also build branded content as well. Let's see. For resources, we have you can try our SDK sample app in the Google Play and App Store, or you can download the sample apps directly from the website. And also here's the SDK as well. You can download that. And additionally, we have plenty of sample codes available in many languages. And then, of course, documentation. So let's log in and get started. Here we can start creating our app now. Okay, so when you log in, you get, when you first log in, and you can choose to see this as many times as you want, there's a little tip window here that talks a little bit about ARGear and the services it provides. Okay, and now here we have a list of our projects. So we have, I currently have several projects here, but we can, before we get into that, we'll go into the payment method, or setting up payments. So here you can add a payment method. You can put credit card information there, and then here's your purchase history below that. Then I'll go back to this list. So let's get started on creating our first app. So what we first need to do is create a new project. So we'll do that. Since my work computer is a Mac, we'll choose iOS. And we also need to fill out a package name, or this will be our bundle identifier in iOS in Xcode. So we're going to call it com.seerslab.awe, and project name my sample. And description, we'll get one. First, personalized sample application for AWE. We'll create this. We use the free plan, and there we go. So here is the dashboard. As you can see, there's no activity yet, but we'll change that. We'll go to project overview. And here, this is your go-to page for developing your app. We need about four things from this page. We need the API URL, the API key, the secret key, and the authentication key. Also here is the bundle identifier that we specified when we created the project. Another helpful tool, as you can see on the bottom right side, is the JSON that your app will receive once it connects to ARGear. You can also reference the documentation for the API specifics. Now let's check out the content shop. You see we got some new content here. So in the content shop, so as I went over before, there's several free and paid contents. Each content has a GIF effect that you can kind of view to see their effect, what they look like when you see them in the app. And there's also some, we have some bundles or packages you can purchase. In here, yeah, you can see if I hover over, you get some effect here. Okay, so let's, I'll buy a couple of stickers here, and then we'll go to the stickers tab. I'm gonna buy this one, this angel versus devil thing. Maybe one of these paper ones. I like this popping flower thing. Maybe another flower thing. This vomit thing is funny. All right. Here, and let's see. Okay. Yeah, I think that'll be it for that. And then next we'll go to filters. Let's grab a couple filters. Oops, that one's paid one. Get that one out of there. Free ones. Let's sort by price lowest there. There we go. Some more free. All right. And let's go and purchase these. Oh, one of them was not free. Let's go back. Which one was it? Oh, here it is. Sorry about that. All right, let's try this again. All right, place the order. Now that we purchased them, we can move on to the content management. So here in the content management is pretty simple. We just create a category and drag and drop our content into there. And you can create as many categories as you want. As a way you can organize your content. My first one I'll call flowers. So we have some for flower content. Then we'll create another one. We'll call this fun. And in here we'll put our silly content. Create another one called my filters. This is where my photo filters will go. All right, let's not the funny ones. Just really excited to put those funny ones in there. Let's see. Those, all right. The flowers. Save that. Go back. Fun. Now we can put the fun stuff in here. All right. Set that to live and save the changes there. Okay. Then we'll go back to filters. Filter for my filters. Pick some filters that I have here. Save the changes. We should set it to live so we can see it in our app. All right. And that's it. So I have 3 categories with content in them. So now all we have to do is go back to the project overview, and you can see our API response is populated with all our content for information about it. All right. Now let's go over some of the documentation to help us use the ARGear SDK. So we will make an iOS app. So let's check out that section. The SDK is fairly similar between Android and iOS, so we can just go over one here. Just go over one. In the ARGear overview, we see a sequence diagram of the ARGear lifecycle. The application developer is essentially responsible for establishing the ARGear session and parsing the API response for content. Also calling ARGear session lifecycle on event handlers, camera control, and supplying camera image to ARGear. ARGear will handle rotation of input on device orientation changes. Also, the developer is responsible for displaying the ARGear output, the results of applying filters, stickers, etc. The user should handle orientation on display, like rotation and mirroring. ARGear creates a CV pixel buffer on iOS and gives a GLES texture for Android. And the user should also download and set content to be displayed or to be rendered by ARGear. And if the developer chooses to do so, when to capture and record ARGear output frames using the ARGear media interface. So let's go check out ARGear session. So to initialize and create an ARGear session, we need to use the API URL, the API key, the API secret key, and the API authentication key. As we've seen in the ARGear console project that you created, you would reference that and set that inside the ARGear configuration to start your ARGear session. And then once you run the ARGear session, it will connect to your ARGear console project and download the API response. Also, you have some app lifecycle handling for pausing and destroying the session. Next, we can go check out the camera interface here for taking the input and giving it to ARGear session. So on iOS, we would use the AV capture session and pass the AV capture video data and metadata output, like the CM sample buffer and the AV metadata object. We would give that to ARGear session to update the frame. Next, to render the ARGear output, ARGear will notify your application that the frame is updated and ready to be displayed, recorded, or captured through the did update method. Developers must choose how to render the output. So the output can be retrieved in the ARGear frame object that is supplied to the did update event. And you can display it whatever way you desire. So using OpenGL, Metal, or other view models. Parse the API response. The API response is a JSON message. And in this section, you can go over the different fields of the message and brief descriptions on them. So you can also you can check the API documentation here for details, and you can reference the ARGear console where the actual response from your project can be displayed before you even need to implement anything, and that can help assist you in how to handle the ARGear contents and the API parsing. So next we can go over downloading. Now, in order to use the content, you have to download the content onto your device. So contents can be downloaded whenever the developer deems it is appropriate. So ARGear gives complete control to the developer of what is on their device at any time. Contents are downloaded. Each content is downloaded in two steps, basically. So first, we use the contents URL provided in the API response to request a signed URL. And then the second step would be to use this signed URL to download the content. And the ARGear session has an interface to handle these tasks. So after we have this content downloaded, we can set them. So we also reference the ARGear session object. And the ARGear session has an AR contents member object. And so after the content's downloaded, you use the local path of that content and the content ID found in the API response. And then you set it in the ARGear content object. So to set an item, we go to the ARGear session and get and access the contents object, ARGear content object, and we can set items there. Not just the AR content like stickers and filters can be set here, but we can also set other things like face beautification effects, and the documentation lists the different types of beautifications we can set, and we can enable that through the ARGear session contents, ARGear contents object. And then for And these face beautification effects can be adjusted how their effect is applied, or you can also remove them through this interface as well. So face bulging as well can be set this way. So, and like I mentioned, they can be removed as well. They're removed by content type, so like sticker or bulge effects. Next, ARGear provides an interface for capturing and recording the ARGear output. So to capture the output, we need to have some configurations on bitrate, ratio, and some other things here. So, like device orientation. So in order to take a photo, we use the ARGear media object to just simply take a picture by giving it an image. And recording videos is about this, it's not that as easy as well. So all we need to do is just notify ARGear media when to record and when to stop recording. So that's basically it. So now that we understand the basics of the ARGear content from the ARGear console project and the ARGear SDK interface, we can integrate that together and make our first app. And to do that, we can go to the ARGear console and navigate to product and resources. Then we can go down to the sample codes here. And just since we're using iOS, we're going to make an iOS app. We just click download and download that, and then we can start personalizing it to work with our own curated content. First thing we'll do is we'll unzip it, and then I'll open up a console here. And we will set it up. All right. Okay, console's up. Here's our sample app code, source code, our project. So what I'll do is first thing we have to do is inside the pod file, we have to add our project here. Okay. Now the project's there, we'll do a pod install. All right, now we're ready. Now all we have to do is set up our project in Xcode. Okay, so I'm going to share my Xcode window. Okay, here we go. And right now we're just going to test it out, make sure everything builds, and set my device, the phone. All right. So once that finished building, we'll check out the phone display. Share that. Okay. So as soon as this is done building, I have to stand up. Okay, so it's finally built. All right. So we're gonna launch it on the phone. All right, there I am. All right, so So here we can see there's some features that are inherent in the ARGear SDK. Different type of effects, filters, photo filters, and adjust the effect as well. Go back and we've got some content here. You can play around with that. This one's fitting, right? All right. So we have some 3D stickers as well. Sunglasses. All right. So that's the content that comes with the AR sample app, but we want to put our own content that I put in the console. I want to use that content. But to do that, we need to modify the sample app. And so right now I'll open up Xcode. Again. Okay. So here, first thing we need to do is we need to change the bundle identifier to the one that we specified when we made the sample app. We'll call this com.seerslab.awe. Then next, in the browser, we need the keys. So I'm going to share the browser for right now. Console. I think that's it. All right. Okay. So here we need these authentication keys. So we'll modify the app to use those as well. Those will switch back to Xcode. All right. So to change these in the sample app, we need to go to the ARGear helpers, then to network, and to network manager. So you can see them right at the top. It already has the host URL, but we need to change the API key. So I'll take the one from the website, copy the API key, and, secret key, the authentication key. All right, there we go. It's easy. All right. The other thing we need to do is we need to set our application to be live in the project in the browser. So I'm going to quick share the browser again. Okay. We need to set this to live so that the app works with our new content. All right, we'll switch back to Xcode. Okay. So next, we need to change the, there's a hard-coded value in here. So we go to data and then realm manager. This parses our JSON file or JSON message that we get from the API. And in here, we have content specified as filters, but I changed mine to my filters. So it's going to look for that tag and with the title, the name, and parse that information. And then the categories are just parsed. The other categories are parsed as is. I'll show you. So and that's actually it. Now we're ready to run. It's pretty simple. So I'll open up the iPhone again. You can see that now. And we'll rebuild this again. It's a lot faster this time, I think. Crossing fingers. Here comes the app. Okay, there we go. My filters are there. All right, these are my filters that I added in the AR console. Again, you can modify their effect. Turn off the effect if we want. Go to content. So here we have the name of our content categories, flowers and fun. Right, so let's open up the flowers. It's nice. More flowers. This one's cool. All right, fun. Let's see what this one's like. Yeah. That's cool. Let me just see this one. Loading. All right, that's it. So, so the content can be lazily downloaded whenever the developer wishes. And the content is displayed. So ARGear will take in a camera image, and then it will output an iOS case, a CV pixel buffer. On Android, you'll get a GLES texture. So it's up to the developer to display that, or like I said before, choose when to download the content for display. And now let's check out, let's do this one more time. I like this one. All right. I'll stop that. We'll go back to the browser, and we should have some activity in the project dashboard now. The screen there. All right. So here's our app running on our custom content connected to our ARGear console project. So we have how many active users, the region users were from, and how many times items were selected, items downloaded. Then here we have network usage, and down here we have some different filters. You can do all of it. And then you can see here there's a graph that tells us how much we've used of each content. And you can see it in a table view. You can click it and you get a little display again of the content effect. And also you can see which one was used the most. So you can see which one was your most popular content. And that's about it. Thank you for sitting with me, going through this tutorial on how to set up ARGear project. And I'll gladly answer any questions that you have. And thank you again.
Great. Jake, thanks very much for the presentation. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Wanted to, yeah, you bet. I wanted to just ask a couple questions as we get to the conclusion of this panel. But, given your experience, I mean, you're trying to create as frictionless an experience as possible for developers. And I'm curious, what, in your experience, are the biggest sort of pain points that you think ARGear really addresses effectively with those developers?
Well,
yeah.
Right. So working, AR involves a lot of areas of computer science. We have computer vision, computer graphics. A lot of these take a lot of, it has a very high learning curve for a lot of these things. So we take a lot of that off of the app developer. They don't really need to understand a lot of how these technologies work. So ARGear just kind of provides that kind of buffer between the machine learning algorithms, the GPU filters. So they don't need to know how to do that kind of thing. So it's,
Yep, got it. And what are you find? I mean, in terms of app developers by sector, like, are you finding that there's more uptake for this, say, in the entertainment sector or in retail, given some of the ability to try things on? Like, where is it really getting traction for you guys?
I think we're getting hit by a lot of different areas. People like AR is getting, it's growing really fast, and we constantly get custom content requests for people's own styles of things, and yeah, it's it's just coming in all directions on our end. So.
Yeah, that's great. And there was a question that was asked in the chat box, and I just want to make sure that everybody saw it. It was from John Westra, and he wanted to know what your take and direction was on Appless Web XR. I know you answered, but just for those that may not have access to the chat box.
Okay. Yeah, so we're currently working on some web applications. So live streaming, we're adding RTMP and WebRTC protocols so that you can easily stream your content. And then also we're working on a ARGear JavaScript library, so you can run ARGear in the browser as well.
Great. I just wanted to give you an idea. I mean, it was a pretty extensive presentation, but are there things that you'd like to share with the AWE audience that are more sort of global and maybe not covered in the presentation?
ARGear is constantly adding content. We have a really big library, and then we're kind of feeding the content store so often. I don't really know how often it is.
Okay, so everybody should keep an eye on the space.
Just any other technology that we develop for other companies.
I'm afraid I am losing Jake, or maybe I'm being lost, but I guess what we're going to do, I'm going to wrap up this session. I apologize for the and communication gap. But we're going to go to a break now, and the next panel will be developing web AR experiences with Eighth Wall, and that'll be at 12:40 p.m. Pacific time, 3:40 p.m. Eastern time. Thanks everybody for joining us on these first few panels. I'm going to hand the baton off to my colleague Laura Chadwick as the MC for this particular track. So it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.